Welcome to this revision video on VCE Economics. Today's content focuses on Unit 3, Area of Study 1, an Introduction to Microeconomics, the Market System, Resource Allocation, and Government Intervention. We'll be covering core concepts such as relative scarcity, economic efficiency, the law of demand and supply, market structures, and government intervention. Let's get started. Relative scarcity, needs, wants, and resources. First, let's discuss the concept of relative scarcity. Scarcity refers to the basic economic problem that we face as individuals and societies. Resources are limited, but our wants are unlimited. Think of resources like labor, capital, land, and entrepreneurship. These are limited, meaning we can't have everything we want. This leads to the fundamental economic challenge, deciding how to allocate these scarce resources to meet as many needs and wants as possible. Needs are the essentials for survival, such as food, water, and shelter, while wants are everything else we desire but don't necessarily need to survive. Because resources are limited, we must make choices, and this leads to opportunity cost, the value of the next best alternative that we give up when making a decision. Production Possibility Frontier, PPF. One way we can visualize scarcity and opportunity cost is through the Production Possibility Frontier, or PPF. The PPF is a model that shows all the combinations of two goods that a country or economy can produce with its limited resources. If you are operating on the PPF curve, you're using all your resources efficiently. If you're inside the curve, resources are being underutilized. If you're trying to produce beyond the curve, that's impossible without more resources or improved technology. When you move along the PPF, you're experiencing opportunity cost because producing more of one good means producing less of another. The slope of the PPF tells us how much of one good we give up to get more of another. The three basic economic questions. This leads us to the three basic economic questions: what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. These are the fundamental questions every economy must answer due to scarcity. How we answer these questions depends on the type of economic system in place, whether it's market-based, command, or mixed. Economic efficiency and its relationship to the PPF. Economic efficiency refers to how well we are using resources to meet the needs and wants of society. There are four types of efficiency to consider. Allocative efficiency occurs when resources are used in a way that maximizes societal welfare, producing the goods and services that people value most. Productive efficiency means producing goods and services at the lowest possible cost. Dynamic efficiency involves how well an economy adapts to changes over time, including innovation. Intertemporal efficiency looks at how resources are allocated over time, ensuring that current production doesn't compromise future needs. On the PPF model, allocative efficiency is a specific point on the curve where society's preferences are being met. Productive efficiency is any point on the curve itself, as it shows maximum production with given resources. Conditions for a free and perfectly competitive market. Next, we look at the conditions for a free and perfectly competitive market. In a perfectly competitive market, there are many buyers and sellers, no barriers to entry or exit, and all firms sell identical products. Consumers and producers have perfect information, and no individual buyer or seller can influence the market price, making them price takers. These conditions ensure that resources are allocated efficiently through market mechanisms, where supply and demand interact. The law of demand and its effects. Let's move on to the law of demand. The law of demand states that, all else being equal, when the price of a good or service falls, the quantity demanded increases, and when the price rises, the quantity demanded decreases. This is represented by a downward-sloping demand curve. Two effects explain this behavior: the substitution effect and the income effect. The substitution effect happens when consumers switch to a cheaper alternative as prices rise. The income effect means that as prices fall, consumers feel wealthier and are able to buy more, thus increasing demand. Demand curve and shifts. A change in price leads to movement along the demand curve. However, changes in non-price factors cause the demand curve to shift. Non-price factors include disposable income, the prices of substitute or complementary goods, preferences, tastes, interest rates, population demographics, and consumer confidence. For example, if consumer confidence increases, people are more likely to spend, shifting the demand curve to the right. The law of supply and its effects. On the other side of the market, we have the law of supply. The law of supply states that, all else being equal, as the price of a good rises, producers are willing to supply more of it, and when the price falls, they supply less. This gives us an upward-sloping supply curve. The profit motive drives this behavior, as higher prices encourage producers to supply more to maximize profits. Supply curve and shifts, similar to demand, a change in price results in movement along the supply curve. However, shifts in the supply curve occur due to non-price factors such as changes in production costs, the number of suppliers in the market, technology advancements, productivity improvements, and climatic conditions. For instance, better technology can increase productivity, shifting the supply curve to the right. Equilibrium price and quantity. When supply and demand interact, they determine the market equilibrium, where the quantity supplied equals the quantity demanded. At this point, the market price is stable, and no shortages or surpluses exist. If demand or supply changes, it leads to a new equilibrium price and quantity. Price elasticity of demand and supply. Now, let's discuss price elasticity of demand and supply. Price elasticity of demand measures how responsive the quantity demanded is to a change in price. Factors that affect this include the degree of necessity, availability of substitutes, the proportion of income spent on the good, and the time period considered. Price elasticity of supply measures how responsive producers are to a change in price. Factors affecting this include spare production capacity, the production period, and the durability of goods. Role of relative prices in resource allocation. Relative prices play a critical role in the allocation of resources. In a market system, relative prices signal where resources should be allocated. For example, if the price of smartphones rises relative to other goods, producers may shift resources toward manufacturing more smartphones to meet demand. Market failure and government intervention. Markets are not always perfect, and when they fail, the government may intervene. Common types of market failure include public goods, externalities, asymmetric information, and common access resources. Governments address market failure through indirect taxation, subsidies, regulations, advertising, and direct provision. However, sometimes these interventions can have unintended consequences, such as reducing efficiency in other areas. Example of government intervention. One example of government intervention reducing efficiency is rent controls. While designed to make housing more affordable, they can unintentionally decrease allocative efficiency by discouraging investment in housing, leading to a housing shortage. In summary, we've covered the essential concepts of scarcity, efficiency, market structures, demand and supply, elasticity, and government intervention. Understanding these basics is crucial for success in VCE economics, so make sure to review your study notes and practice applying these concepts in real-world contexts. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.